And all right, welcome you guys. Melissa here, and we're coming in hot because we're both excited. We've got some exciting news, which I guess you guys will drop it here with you guys first. I am starting my coaching business. So for those of you that work with Melissa that need some support with how do I level up mentally, get to these roadblocks, mindset, I'm your girl, and we no longer have the detour of insurance issues, right? So we're excited. Melissa will have all those packages available to you shortly. But we're talking about money mindset today. And this is something I know both Melissa and I have been on a journey with, and it's so massively tied into your recovery journey. What I mean by recovery is your physical health recovery journey. So if you're working with Melissa already, you're working on gut health, you're working on, how am I showing up? How am I taking care of my physical body, which will 100% impact your mental. But I find so many people, women especially, but definitely people, have limiting money beliefs, right? So I know Melissa closed on her house, which is so incredible. And there's this moment of like, right? Or, you buy a car, and even though everything falls into place, so it's what's supposed to happen, right? I know when I built my house, everything was so freaking smooth that it was like absurd smooth. There was no question in my mind it was what's supposed to happen. But I still had this moment of like, right? And so it's really the next level of everyone's growth journey is believing we deserve. And I know, like, I always looked at things through a faith-based view, and I believe that we are supposed to be abundant. I do believe that's our birthright. Unfortunately, a lot of us come from mindset lineages that aren't that, right?
Yeah.
I think of the phrase like money doesn't grow on trees, and like, I'll just go out back to the money tree and pick a few dollars, right? Like, this is all stuff we've all heard. And so, but I know for both of us, this is something we've worked really hard on, and we want to kind of talk to you about how do you lean into that discomfort. And, this, by the way, guys, is one of those things where it's in layers. So within this 10-minute thing, it's not going to vanish, but I want you to think about, because we can't change a pattern unless we recognize it.
Exactly.
What is your deeply rooted money belief? Right, Melissa? Like, I feel like people really need to reflect upon that and then go, oh, how is that impacting how it's actually showing up for me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, Melissa, but for me, again, there was such a lack, and money was a source of control. Right? So that built a really unhealthy pattern. And by the way, if you're listening to this, and every time I say the word money, you're going like this, that's a limiting belief. And I believe that money accents who we are. So if you are a good, kind human being, and I know a lot of people that are good and kind who are very financially well off, and they do great things with that money. If you're already an amazing human, it actually just helps you show up in a bigger way in our world.
Exactly.
If you're grouchy and mean and greedy and whatever, then sure, it's going to highlight that. But I would say, and I have the great benefit, I guess, of knowing a lot of nice people that have done really well for themselves, and what they get to do with that is so empowering. And so I want you to also, I guess, think about that. But I mean, what do you think, Melissa? How do people lean into that? What does that look like? And, I guess, what has your journey kind of been like with that too?
Oh my. So I love that question, and I love what you've shared, because really coming into a solid, grounded, open money mindset can take a bit of time. So, growing up, we didn't have what we needed to be comfortable in any way. So there was a lot of, we don't have money for that, or we don't have, whatever. And so when I walked into this space of, well, you guys know my story of being really, really sick with multiple sclerosis, that was at the bottom, a total lack, not just lack of financial stuff, but lack of love, lack of self-love, lack of, being able to have control over my own life, lack of being able to make my own decisions, being able to, move forward and expand. That wasn't even a piece of what was in my mind or in my heart. But as I started working on my body and I started to heal, then it's almost like my brain started to open up to, oh my goodness, I don't have to live like this. And my life started to just wide open. And I feel like that for me was a place, like my body had to get into the place where I could trust it before I felt safe enough to start working on the money mindset. And just so you know, guys, that is something that I habitually work on every little bit, because something will pop up and I'll see another limiting belief come through, and I'll see it, I'll acknowledge it, and then I can work on it, right? And so for me, money is, how do I say? Money is energy. It goes around and comes around. It's something that I have changed my whole idea around. Like, there is always enough for everybody to be abundant. And when you're thinking about, I want to really have an abundant lifestyle or an abundant income, doesn't mean that somebody's going to have less because you have more. Lean into that. That was one of my base beliefs that I was just like, but really leaning into the fact that we can be abundant in every way, including financially.
I love what you said about trusting your body, Melissa, because when you're sick and you feel lousy, you feel like you can't trust or count on anything. That's so powerful. Last weekend, I was with one of my best friends, and she also has celiac. And I remember when she got diagnosed, she was tiny. And you and I have talked about, I don't know what size I'm supposed to be healthy. And I'm not a big person, you guys, like, I'm a compact human. But I was like, an emaciated size 0 from like the age like 15 to 35. Okay. Actually, probably later, I would say like 38. And so, but once I started healing my gut, right, and actually like, I was like, I got bigger, right? So I'm like a 2 or 3 now, which obviously isn't big, but like, I was sick all the time, right? I was constantly unable to like stay on any consistent pattern with any workout program, health program, right? Because I'd be knocked down periodically. And it was like, what do I do without this, whatever, job paying me like nothing, and, this time off or whatever, right? So, if you're having those thoughts, you guys, it is totally normal, but understand that as you are healing, that will keep healing too. And I love that because, everyone, it just doesn't kind of happen. You don't just wake up one day. It's always a process, right? Yeah. I love that, Melissa. I think it's so powerful.
Yeah. And I think like some of us have really big missions that we are working on here in our time of life. And when we open, our bodies are well, and we're able to walk into opportunities that create an opening for us to actually do what we know in our being that we're here to do. That is such a gift. So I would just encourage you, if you're like, okay, I know I need to do this in the world. This is why I'm here. This is why I breathe. And you're not able to do it because of what's happening in your body or in the mental health space, I would encourage you to get a hold of Melissa or myself and get going on really leaning into that and creating a space of recovery for yourself.
Yeah. I love that, Melissa.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys. Reach out to us. Let us help you. And I'll get that stuff over to you ASAP, Miss Melissa.
Thank you. Have an awesome day.
You too. And congratulations, friend.
Thank you.
Bye, Annie.
Bye.